Gwendolyn Brooks once said, "If you wanted a poem, you had only to look out of a window. There was material always, walking or running, fighting or screaming or singing." In the 1950s, she penned these lines. "We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we thin gin, we jazz June, we die soon." Gwendolyn Brooks, A Poet's Work in Community, is an exhibition following the life and work of Gwendolyn Brooks, particularly her roles as a mentor, friend, poet, and community leader in the Black arts movement. That story is told through printed first editions, manuscript material, letters, and broadside poems. The show includes not only works by Gwendolyn Brooks, but also by her contemporaries and other people that she influenced.
She was an educator. She was an extremely generous supporter of Black writers. Every Black writer should have a Black publisher, she said in the 60s. And she's an inspiration. And this is a very exciting exhibition for the Morgan because we have important holdings of her books, broadsides, and we've been building our collection of Gwendolyn Brooks material for the last few years.
Gwendolyn Brooks was a prolific poet of the 20th century. She was the first African-American to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1950 for her book of poetry, Annie Allen. But not only that, she was also a great community leader and affected young artists and poets' lives throughout her career. Brooks was born in Topeka, Kansas in 1917. Shortly after her birth, her family moved to the South Side Chicago neighborhood of Bronzeville, where she would live the rest of her life. Brooks believed it was her job to talk about the things that she observed and to speak to the events that were affecting her community. Brooks once said, "It is the task or job or responsibility or pleasure or pride of any writer to respond to his climate," which I think is a great testament to what Brooks was doing with her work. She wanted to respond to what was happening, and there was a lot happening during her career, which spanned decades from the 1940s, where we have the era of Jim Crow, a very segregated time, to the Civil Rights Movement, and finally the Black Power movement, which was a response to increasing state violence and the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Given her long-spanning career in the communities that she was involved with, she had a lot to respond to. She had a lot to say. She brought attention to the inner lives of African-American people and gave voice to communities that weren't often heard. What I want people to take away from the exhibition is that Brooks's legacy runs really deep, and that it's the empathy in her work that allows it to connect to so many people. I think that her work is deeply accessible and speaks to the moment that we're living in now. It not only reflects in, but also looks forward and out into the world. I think that's something that we really need right now, is poetry that connects us, that brings us together, and that makes us look forward to the future, but also poetry that treasures the people and places that we see every day.